What's going on, good people? This your boy, the Warrior Prince, back at the Reconstruction Project. So, there's a topic I want to touch on. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to, talk about this topic for some time because it actually applies to me. So, I was watching a podcast the other day. I'm just going to get right into it. I was watching a podcast the other day, and there were some comments about Passport Bros. Now, if you don't know what Passport Bros is, they're guys have said they're done with the Western women and they're going to go overseas to look for their women. You know, a lot of these guys have even gotten to a point to where these guys have even got to the point to where, they're looking to live and establish a life outside of the United States. So, but I was into the podcast and I heard some commentary about the Passport Bros. And one of the guys on a panel said something that, because the subject of the Passport Bros was brought up. And one of the guys said that he felt like the Passport Bros were lame. So I thought I'd throw my 2 cents in the ring and to see if these brothers have a valid point about leaving the country. Now, I just want to play a music, some music real quick. Let me share my screen here. I figured I'd play some music to get my. Here we go. All right, that's enough of that. All right. Now, there's a reason why I played that particular music clip. Because I think that music clip, now, I don't even know how something like that is able to be put to the masses. I guess it's just, freedom of speech, But into this panel and listening to these guys eviscerate the Passport Bros for exercising their own agency and deciding what they're going to do with their life, calling them lame. I just wanted to play that music to just let you know this is the mindset of the young women in the Western world. And all I hear in that song is no accountability for their own actions, but you're actually bragging about aborting kids. Now, let me circle back and get back to the answer to the question, is Passport Bros lames? The answer is no. Okay. The real question that we should be asking is, why do Black men, because this is what it's about, because when white men decide to exercise their agency and options, no one says a thing. White men have been doing these things for years, right? Passport Bros is not a new phenomenon. It's not something new. Men have been, and particularly white men, have been exercising their option to marry women from other races and other cultures since the dawn of time. being in the military and living in different countries and being an expat myself, you see the men do this pretty regularly because, well, let's just say the Western woman, her mentality has went from being like bad to like incredibly worse. So to answer your question, is the passport bros lame? The answer is no. The answer is no. What other option do these men have? Okay, we know that every man is supposed to go out and create a legacy. Now, legacy doesn't just encompass wealth. I mean, when I say wealth, I'm talking about money. You cannot have a legacy without cannot have wealth without generation wealth, right? Generational wealth. I'm sorry. You cannot have these things exist. Now, a woman has a woman's responsibility is to bring a man's legacy, meaning his children, his heirs, into life, to birth his next generation. And these are the women that you want these men to trust that task to. A woman who's been told that it's her body, her choice. A woman that's been told that if a man is leading and taking charge, that he's being controlling and domineering and misogynistic. But yet you're mad at these brothers because they're choosing to exercise their right to leave the country to find what the Most High said you should look for in a wife. The first thing that a wife should do, according to the word of God, is that her desire should be to her husband. When you have a culture of women who's been told that she needs to be independent of her man, not to rely on a man, that a man can't be relied on. The only thing that a man is good for is his production. And you don't even need to be in submission and need to be under his protection to gain that. This is what these women have been told, right? So now you got generations, this generation of women who are void of anything called accountability. And yet you wonder why these men are saying, no mas. I'm not going for that. Now, see, I said earlier that I was going to touch on this subject and I was going to be talking about it because it pertains to me. Because my wife is from a different culture. I did what a lot of these new brothers are doing, these younger brothers are doing 5 years ago. Because I seen the writing on the wall. I seen it. How can men trust women with their children when the women are telling you that I'm all about myself? So you want to call these guys lame for not investing in a creature, a being that has told you that she cares little about your legacy. She cares little about birthing the next generation. She's only about herself. Now, let me say something too, because I see a lot of commentary about the passport bros pertaining to these guys going to these different countries and tricking. They want to talk about these guys going to the DR. They want to talk about these guys going to Brazil. They want to talk about these guys going to Colombia. I personally have been to Colombia myself. I went to Colombia back in 2005 and 6. And even back then, I knew that if I had the chance, I wouldn't have came back to America. I'd have stayed right there in Colombia. And most of these men that are commenting about, because the crazy thing about it, it's men, it's black men that's commenting and calling these brothers lame. Now, I can understand why women do that. I can understand why these ratchet black women would do that. Because they know that they don't qualify for these brothers, so they're going to project. And they're going to try to shame these brothers for exercising their own agency. But what I don't get is why other black men would tell another black man, don't do what's best for you. So now the talking point is These brothers are going to Brazil, Colombia, and the DR to trick. And all these women down there in Brazil, Colombia, and the DR doing is trying to, swindle these brothers out their money. It's just tricking. My question to that is, what's the difference in doing it in America? What, do you want the American dollars to stay in rotation? So you are opposed to the men tricking in other countries, but you're not opposed to them tricking here. Because when I hear the conversations about these things, it always comes down to the superficial. And to me, that lies part of the problem, is that every time a black man decides that he's going to exercise his God-given right, for some odd reason, you sorry, lame, sipping niggas, I'm going to say it just like that, try to belittle what he's doing by trying to basically say that we're only fulfilling our white supremacy mandate. Because all what we were supposed to do when we were brought to this country, or we were brought to this hemisphere, was to mate with the African female, don't have no dominion over the African female, be a bunch of concuserves, which means only good for your production and having sex to reproduce, but you are not supposed to have any type of dominion over your seed. So how come every time when a man says, I'm going to walk in my true calling as a man, I'm going to be fruitful, I'm going to multiply, I'm going to subdue, I'm going to have dominion, you brothers got to minimize what these guys are doing and try to say it's only about sex. And what that leads me to believe is that's all you think about. How come these brothers, how come we always just got to be beast? We can never be humanized. It kills me how you brothers always try to dehumanize other black men by saying black men exercising their agency is only because he's acting according to his feral instinct, which is to have sex and to beat people. How come it always boils down to that? How come these brothers can never be respected for being intelligent, thinking, you know what I'm saying, leading alpha and sigma male brothers? How come these brothers can never be that? Most of these men are not going to these countries. The thing, yes, you have hot on the planet to where there's a sex trade and a sex market. To literally that you can walk down the street and you have women in store windows like a vending machine. Asia is known for that. Okay, prostitution is legal in Europe. No one's talking about that prostitution is being legal in Europe. Lo and behold, we talk about the Europeans. Men go to Amsterdam, Holland, Germany, Bulgaria. All these places are hot spots for prostitution, but you don't say anything about that because that's white women, right? That's white women. Asia, the Philippines, Thailand, Japan, you got these places that are hot spots for the sexual market too. It's everywhere. Okay? But you mad at these brothers because they're going places, and most of these guys are not going to these places to trick. They're going to these places for a better quality of life. Something called house Negroes with no. But you're trying to minimize and demean the fact that these brothers are actually seeking wives, because that's what they're doing. Most of these brothers are going out there to seek wives. They got this one cat, this young guy named Austin. I heard some pushback about that. How can he? First of all, he ain't leading anything. He's only leading himself, and he got like-minded individuals that's rolling with him. But why should he wait to get 45, 50 years old to start exercising agency? I say congrats to the brother. I'm happy for the brother. They're always trying to minimize what black men do, like black men are just feral. And for what? what's the prize back in Western society? To live in a society that doesn't welcome you. Every time that you try to build in this society, it's coming to take something from you. The women are unruly and have been trained to not submit to you, but only to submit to one race of man. So why y'all really, the truth be told, y'all call these brothers lame. Y'all brothers lame because that's females' talking point. And most of y'all cats, y'all ain't nothing but females y'all got there. Because a real man would never look at another man and say that it's lame for him to exercise his agency. He's not harming anybody. He ain't beating nobody. He ain't stealing from nobody. He ain't cheating nobody. And so what if they're going down there tricking? What's it to you? I don't support tricking, but so what? What's the difference from them brothers tricking down there versus tricking up here? At least you get a more aesthetically pleasing woman that you're tricking with. Have you seen a Brazilian? Have you seen a Colombian? Have you seen a woman from the Dominican Republic? Have you seen a woman from the Philippines? Have you seen a woman from Thailand? And one more thing before I go, because I gotta go get my baby. One more thing before I go. Contrary to popular belief, most women in Colombia, and a lot of those women in the DR, definitely on the continent, those women ain't getting ran through like you thinking they are. But you guys think this crazy PR that you're trying to put out about these women in these poorer countries that's getting ran through. No, baby. Just because they don't have the quality of life, the convenience of life, because America is a life of luxury. Just because they don't have that doesn't mean that they're poor. What they lack in technology and availability to have all these luxuries they have in family. Family is emphasized in these places. That's why these women know how to be wives, something that y'all chicks don't know how to be. And just to let you know, stop trying to downplay other women. Stop trying to demean other women. If you really want black men to stay in this country, to choose wives from this country, how about this country start producing wives for black men to pick? And with that being said, that's all I got to say. And I'm out. Shalom.